Here on Thought Expansion Network, we are catching up with Ruth Hatherley, the founder of Moneycatcher, that was conceived within the Unlocked session in Bali, and we're going to find out how this whole thing came about and why she is now so successful as being an entrepreneur in the fintech space in Australia. And so over to Ruth. Ruth, how did this whole thing come about?
Well, when I attended the Unlock session in Bali in October last year, part of the process of that was to understand how you can identify messes in markets, and how inside that identification of a mess lies the opportunity of being able to create solutions and massively gain competitively and also financially from creating those solutions. And when I looked inside my own industry, I identified a massive mess, and then was given I was enabled from that process to create the solution, which is now Moneycatcher.
Awesome. And so what is the industry in which we're addressing here, and what was the major mess?
Yeah. The industry is the financial services industry, specifically around the residential mortgage application process. So unfortunately, the time it takes for people to be able to apply for a loan all the way through to actually settling that loan, so purchasing a property or refinancing from one lender to another, on average in our industry, in our country, is about 42 days for that to happen. It's a very laborious and long and just annoying process, and it's a mess. And so what we've done is identified a way to reduce that process from 42 days to 5.
Excellent. And so that obviously shows a huge amount of advantages and value for everyone involved, from lenders to consumers. And what happened next once you came up with the concept? How did you get funding so quickly? What was the magic? How did you go from a concept in October to being a funded startup in August?
One thing that has aided in that process the whole way is the fact that we've got such a good idea, and that it's an obvious mess that needed to be fixed. And when I start talking to people about it, the question I often get back is, why hasn't someone done this before? So that's a really interesting point to think of and park till later. Secondly, when I was inside the Unlock process, you don't just get given the tools by which to understand the problem. You also have to spend the last part of the Unlock process stepping out your next steps and your next plan. And part of those next steps were guided by Jonathan and Miriam in relation to what is the correct path to follow to enable your success. One of those key things was partnering with the right people. Who else do you need to enable your solution? And one of those big things that is really important in that process is understanding where your skill set lies and what you're really good at, but then understanding who are the building blocks that you need to place around you and partner with, whether it be from a paying perspective or an equity perspective or a mentor perspective or an advisory perspective, but you have to engage them early on from the very beginning and make sure that you protect your idea and choose those right partners.
Okay, so full disclosure, Thought Expansion Network is a shareholder inside Moneycatcher, and there's some other key players inside there. Would you, Ruth, say that that the patent process was quite important in this whole mix? Was that protecting the idea you mentioned a second ago? Is that something that you would recommend for other startups to do early?
Two things I would recommend for them to do, actually three, but one is, two are combined. So getting the right legal partner from the very beginning to understand you put your company structure together properly, you put your partnership agreements, you get NDAs in every single conversation that you have. You know, sharing your idea and not having that protected inside an NDA is absolutely detrimental to your ability to patent your idea, so it's really important. So they go hand in hand. Your ability to protect your idea and your discussions, and therefore legally protect it formally inside a patent, was very valuable for us. It's given us strength then to go on and fundraise properly and to sell the story, because we can sell the fact that we own it, which is really important. And the third thing is to get the right financial partnership. So we've partnered, can I say?
Yeah.
We've partnered with KPMG, and we chose them through a very initial audition process, to be quite honest, and they have helped us with some very smart strategic decisions around how we expand from just an idea, which everyone kept saying it was a lovely idea, to now some pretty strong commercial arrangements.
And how much was the investment, the seed funding round? You can say that publicly, that's fine.
We raised $1 million in our first round, and that was just being successfully done at the minute.
Yep.
And
that values the company at what?
5 million.
5 million. So you now are sitting on a $5 million company from a concept that you came up with 10 months ago.
Yeah.
That's great. So thanks for joining us here on 10, and apologies for this this environment, by the way, of this video. Obviously we could stretch to a proper film studio and everything else like that, but Ruth is so busy that the only time we can catch her is inside the back of a limousine in Sydney. So that's the way she rolls. We'll see you next time on 10, and for more details about the Unlock session, go to 10.io/unlock. See you next time. Bye.